Hello and good day. I'm going to go over the modeling tab in Real-Time Landscape Architect, also known as Uvision. The tabs are exactly the same in both programs. I'm going to go through each of these one by one, show you how they create a part, and then in another segment I'll go over how to manipulate those parts. So let's get right into it. The box is a simple box. It's 2 points. Just pick 2 points on your grid and you've got yourself a box. Now you can adjust the height of that box or side to side by highlighting these green, blue, and red points. Red represents your x-axis. Blue always represents a y-axis, which means it goes away from you. And green is always up and down. That's your z-axis. So let's put that aside. Box, very simple. Ramp, same idea, 2 points. It's going to show you a ramp that is just preset, but this ramp can be adjusted with all these tabs on the side. Height, number 2. So there you go. There's how you change your ramp. You can change the height number 1, which is the opposite side, depending on what you want to do. I can see this being useful for top of a house or a garage, something like that for a roof if needed. Also just your typical ramp. So that's 2 points, and you create yourself a ramp and you adjust everything on the side. Cylinder, same idea, 2 points. It's going to be a radius, so you're starting from the middle point, you click, and then you draw out to whatever radius you want for your circle. Pretty straightforward. So if I do 12, it's going to be a 24-foot diameter cylinder. And again, on the side is where you adjust what you want to do with that cylinder. So there's 2 radiuses, top and bottom. Change that, you create a cone, make it wider depending on what you want to do with that cylinder. Set that off to the side. Extrusion gets a little bit fancier. So extrusion is more points, but with an extrusion you're typically just tracing something out. So the way I've used it is by tracing out logos and creating 3-dimensional logos, or a cutout of a logo. So let's say you're doing metal art or a metal privacy screen and you want to be fancy with that privacy screen, you can draw out your design and cut it out of that metal or wood or plastic or whatever it is. So it's just a bunch of points. You create the shape that you want. Right click to close where you started, and you've got yourself a shape. You want to change the height, and that shows you your part. So that's pretty much for custom made parts, whatever it is that you need that for. I suppose you could make boulders with that. Lathe gets even more fancier. So a lathe, I'm going to switch to the plan mode for a second. You also want to make sure that you're in this orientation. Your y-axis, your x-axis is like this. Go into plan view. So pretend you're on a lathe and you want to create a vase of some kind. So you would start at the bottom, let's say, and then you create that bottom part of the vase, and then you go up to the top. Now this is the point where if you want this to be a solid object, you can stop here. If you want this to be a hollow object, then you would zoom in make that a lip at the top, and then you follow your path back down again. Now on the inside, I don't think you would be too concerned about this distance here. So I'm just going to do this real quick just to show you. If you are concerned about the thickness of this wall, then you would have to dive into this a little bit deeper. But for what we're doing here, I'm just going to show you a hollowed out vase, and it's going to stop here. I'm going to right click there, and as you can see, I have created a vase. Now I'm going to go back to 3D, which is perspective. I'm going to lift this out of the ground, and you can see that I drew a vase that is hollowed out on the inside. Now you can do this for glassware, wine glasses, you name it. Now this middle part, if you don't have this button turned on, it can show a hole there, as well as if you have the closed button on, it can show a weird hole in there as well. So just play around with these buttons and it'll close that up for you, and then you've got yourself whatever shape it is that you're looking to do with that. Now you can see that oh, something else I want to go over, the sweep angle. So this, if you need to cut away or create something for some reason that looks like this instead of a complete 360, that's what sweep angle does. So yeah, I'm just going to close that back up. Also, you can see over here that you can't rotate this to make it stand upright. In order to do that, this brings us to one of the last pieces here. We'll get back to this in a second for loft and part, but right here is where you want to convert this to a custom model. Yes. Now you'll see rotate about your X, Y, and Z axes. We want to rotate along this x-axis, and there you go. There's a simple vase, glassware of some kind. This could probably be handy if you are creating lights. There's a brand out there that has what's called a sway light that would be very quick and easy to do with the lathe option. And to be honest, I think the lighting from some of these companies are really simple to make with these options up here. I've done it before. The next one that comes up is loft. Now this is also pretty tricky, but you just have to understand, you just have to create the shape of what it is that you want to loft, which would be like a slide in most cases. So I'm in loft. I'm gonna go right into shape options, and I'm gonna load a shape. So I'm gonna load this circle. I'm just gonna move this over here. That circle's in the ground. I'm gonna lift it up out of the ground. I want to edit this so that it looks more like a slide. So if I edit points, I can take this and bend it down. You can see as I'm bending it what's happening to the shape, which is kind of handy. I'm just gonna take snaps off for a second here. When you take snaps off, it allows you to adjust to where you want to go without it snapping to the first section that it wants to snap to. Now I can go in and add points in here if I want, right here and right here. You also want to watch out for your curve types. I noticed that it's on Bezel. I want to just make it not do that, so I just switched it over here to curve type. Take this point and just sort of bring it in a little bit. Bring this point, bring it in a little bit. And you can see I've created some sort of a slide. So we've got a slide that's straight. In order to make this actually look like a slide and have this end way up in the air, there's a function at this point that you want to get into called path. You want to click on path, edit points. I'm going to make this a little bit longer, and I'm also going to lift this way up in the air. So there's my slide. I can add more points into the slide. So insert points. Let's put a point here and a point here. I'm going to take this point. I'm just going to drop it down just a little bit. Bring this one up just a little bit. This looks more like a water slide. Also, you can move these points over like this. Move this one over like this. Obviously, if you're going to be sliding down here, you don't want to be hitting these corners like this. That's not going to be a good day for you. So you want to make this some sort of a radius, and by doing that, you're going to need to click on round corners right here, and then you take this, left click and hold, and then it'll create a radius for you. It dropped down for some reason. I'll have to go back and fix that. I think this one, oh yeah, that one too. That's, yeah, it probably doesn't like the height that I had it set to. So anyways, take the round corners off. I'm going to bring this section down. So now you can just go in and just manipulate all these points to what you want. You can just fine-tune this as you wish. I'm just showing you real quick what the loft tool does. This is for a slide. I've used it for creating tubes or like garden hose, that sort of thing. I'm going to put this off to the side. Whoops. Undo. That over there. The last one is part. So part is you're essentially just loading a shape. So it starts off with a sphere. If you want a sphere, then that's what you go with. Otherwise, you would click on here, and now you've got all these options to load in as a preset object. So you've got your cones in different shapes, your pergola, like different chamfered shapes and different pieces for pergolas. You've got your different spheres. All this is just a quick access to stuff that's already made, so you don't have to make it again. And if you do make something custom, like that vase, for whatever reason, you tend to use that a lot, you can save that into your it'll go into your custom folder. I've created this. I use this for rounding corners off, and I'm probably going to just be adding more when I make objects so that I don't have to recreate them every single time. So that's where part comes in. So there you have it. There is all your modeling parts in case you need to create something in RLA. Next, I'm going to go over how you can modify these parts in this section that's grayed out. I hope you like this little tutorial on modeling. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I should be able to answer them for you. Thank you.